We're going to give you a little tour of the job we're doing today. We're going to be doing a lime plaster over an existing brick home as well as around a greenhouse. So let's go do a tour. So our mix today over the brick, we're going to be doing about a 3-to-1 by volume. 3 parts concrete sand. It's a really jagged, rough sand. To a combination of hydraulic and Type S hydrated lime. And the reason we're doing that is just the hydraulic lime is very expensive, but it also sets faster and it's a little bit stronger, so it's good for exterior uses. But we're cutting it with Type S because we've done it before and our mentor taught us how to do that, and it works really well. It's a good way to save money as well as have material a little bit more local. All right, so we have a few different things going on. First of all, we have this brick. It's a very textured brick with cement mortar in between. We're going to go right on top of that with our lime coat, as well as we have a lime wash windowsill, several coats of that, final one with a little bit of linseed oil in it. And then to detail that, we're going to be going straight up to the soffit, and they're going to be putting a little bit of wood trim up there, so we're not really worried about that detail. Down bottom, we do have a little bit of this J-strip, which has weep holes in it, help for drainage. But otherwise, this has plenty of tooth, plus it has suction. So both of those two things combined should have a really good, nice bomber connection between the plaster and the brick. And then over here, we have this greenhouse. In the greenhouse, there's magnesium oxide board underneath. And so we basically had to cover the whole thing in metal lab, standard metal lab. We did a base coat previous to this, and today we're throwing on same type of coat that we're doing on the house, combination of Type S and hydraulic. Put it on with metal trowels, and then give it a good sponge. And we're not trying to wood float her or get it too straight. She kind of likes the Adobe look to it. So we're just sponge floating it to give it some texture so that when the rain hits it, it doesn't channel down. And then we're going to be doing a fresco on top, which we'll see a little bit later. All right, so as you can see, we have a base coat on already. That's over the expanded metal lab. We scored that to add some texture. So there's some mechanical key, as well as it's going to have a bunch of suction. We wet that substrate down pretty significantly. And as you can see, Riser is putting on the next coat right now. We're doing 2 coats. And he's just kind of trying to get a thickness. And after that, we'll come back right behind him. Once it dries up a little bit, we'll hit it with a sponge, bring that aggregate in place. And so basic detailing, just drip cap, J-strip down bottom, and spin metal lab throughout. So the next step, now that the plaster is somewhat dried up, still wet to the touch, but it's a little stiff, I'm just going to do a little bit of sponge float, some circular motions, and what I'm doing here is I'm bringing the aggregate to the face, and by doing so, if any rain actually hits this wall, it breaks the water particles up so that there's no channeling, and that way it's just a more durable long-term surface for water exposure. Alright, so the final step, going to fresco for color. The way fresco works is that we're taking a powdered pigment, iron oxide pigment, just suspending it in water to the portions that we want by weight, and we're painting it on fresh plaster. So you want the plaster hard enough where you're not creating a lot of texture with your brush, but you want it to not be cured yet. The way lime works is that it takes CO2 from the atmosphere to cure, so that process takes some time. As long as the plaster's still wet, it hasn't cured yet. It takes almost a month for that process to fully happen. But within 24 hours, you can put on this pigment. And so you're embedding your pigment on the surface, but it's actually locked into the plaster. So it's locked into the plaster, and it's not just a surface treatment. So basically what they're doing is they're going to keep stirring that so that it doesn't settle out, brushing it on nice and thick, kind of creating some random lines, and just keeping it wet.